Imagine waking up every morning to the sound of waves crashing just a few minutes from your front door, stepping outside into warm tropical air, and realizing that your entire month of groceries, restaurant meals, and household help cost you less than a single dinner back home. That is not a fantasy. That is the daily reality for tens of thousands of people from 7 specific nations who have quietly, deliberately, and in growing numbers made one of the most unexpected decisions of their lives, which is to leave everything they knew and relocate to the Philippines. And the most surprising part is not that they came. The most surprising part is that once they arrive, almost none of them want to leave. The Philippines is an archipelago of over 7,000 islands sitting at the heart of Southeast Asia, and for most of its modern history it was known to the outside world primarily as the homeland of a deeply resilient and globally mobile people. Millions of Filipinos left these shores in search of opportunity abroad, building lives in the United States, Canada, the Middle East, Europe, and beyond. But something has shifted in recent years. The direction of movement has started to reverse, and the country that once exported its people to the world is now pulling people in from places as far and culturally distant as Germany, South Korea, China, the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, and the United States.
How about this
These
one?
7 nations are not sending their people here
This
by
fabric
accident.
feels nice.
There are deep, specific, and compelling reasons why, and they are different for each country. To understand the scale of what is happening, you need to start with the numbers. As of early 2026, the Philippine Retirement Authority reports that the country is now home to more than 84,000 registered foreign retirees, and that figure does not even account for the broader expat community of workers, investors, and long-stay residents who have built lives here through other visa categories. The authority has been increasing its annual targets each year, and in January 2026 alone it recorded a 25% increase in new foreign residents compared to the same period in the previous year. That is not a trickle. That is a wave. And it is coming from a very specific set of countries whose citizens have found in the Philippines something they could no longer find at home. The first and perhaps most emotionally layered group is the Americans. The United States has a deep and complicated history with the Philippines that stretches back more than a century, born from colonization but also from a genuine cultural exchange that left English as an official language, American pop culture as a shared reference point, and a massive Filipino-American diaspora that now numbers in the millions. That shared history creates a kind of invisible bridge for American retirees and remote workers who move here. Walking into a mall in Cebu or a coffee shop in Bonifacio Global City, an American can order in English, read signage in English, watch familiar television programs, and feel the warmth of a culture that grew up alongside American influence. More than 26,000 Americans are currently registered as residing in the Philippines, and many more live here on extended tourist visas that allow stays of up to 3 years. What is pulling Americans here specifically comes down to a simple but profound calculation about what money can actually buy. Back in the United States, a retired couple living on Social Security and a modest pension might struggle to cover rent, healthcare, and basic living expenses in most major cities. That same income, when stretched across the Philippine cost of living, suddenly transforms into something else entirely. A one-bedroom apartment in Manila can be found for under $500 a month. A full-time household helper, something most Americans could never consider at home, can be hired for around $145 per month. A quality meal at a good restaurant might cost $3 or $4. Healthcare, which has become one of the most crippling financial burdens for aging Americans, is significantly more affordable in Philippine cities, where private hospitals in Manila offer world-class treatment at a fraction of the cost of comparable care in the United States.
South Koreans represent the second major group making this migration, and their story is one of the most fascinating in the entire expat landscape of the Philippines. Korean presence here is not new, but the depth and permanence of it has grown considerably over the past decade. Koreans now make up a significant portion of the foreign population, with tens of thousands living across the country in dedicated communities in cities like Cebu, Clark, and Manila. The reason Koreans come is layered with economic pressure, cultural aspiration, and a very practical desire to escape one of the most intensely competitive societies on Earth. South Korea is a country that has achieved remarkable economic success, but that success has come at a human cost measured in overwork, stress, and a youth unemployment landscape that has left many young Koreans questioning whether the traditional path of study, work, and sacrifice will ever pay off the way it did for their parents. For Korean families specifically, the Philippines has become a destination of choice for what is called educational migration. This is the practice of sending a child, often accompanied by a mother while the father remains working back in Korea, to an English-speaking country to develop fluency before returning home with a competitive advantage in the job market. The Philippines is a far more affordable option for this than sending a child to the United States, Canada, or Australia, and the abundance of Korean language services, Korean restaurants, Korean churches, and Korean community organizations makes the transition comfortable enough that many families who originally planned to stay for 1 or 2 years end up extending their time indefinitely. Some never go back at all. China sends the largest single national group to the Philippines, accounting for roughly 40% of the country's registered foreign retirees and a substantial portion of its broader resident alien population. Chinese nationals have been connected to the Philippines for centuries, with Chinese traders among the earliest external influences on Philippine culture, commerce, and society. Today, the connection is commercial and residential on a large scale. Chinese investors have poured money into Philippine real estate, casinos, and business districts, and that investment has followed a residential migration of workers, managers, and entrepreneurs who have come to oversee these interests. Beyond business, there is also a straightforward appeal of proximity and affordability. The Philippines is geographically close to mainland China, flights are short and frequent, and the lifestyle available to a Chinese national of even moderate financial means in the Philippines is considerably more relaxed and spacious than what urban life in Beijing, Shanghai, or Shenzhen often allows. The British contingent in the Philippines is smaller in absolute numbers, but remarkable in its consistency and cultural visibility. The United Kingdom has been producing adventurous expats for generations, and the Philippine Islands have attracted a particular kind of British resident, one who has typically arrived first as a tourist, fallen for the combination of friendly people, warm weather, and a cost of living that makes their pension go further than it ever could back home, and then found a way to stay. British pensioners who move to the Philippines often describe the decision in similar terms. They talk about what a state pension or a modest private pension actually provides in terms of quality of life in a country like the Philippines compared to what the same amount buys in the United Kingdom, where housing costs, utility bills, and the general weight of a high-cost economy eat through savings faster than expected. In the Philippines, that same pension can cover a comfortable apartment, meals out, social activities, and even the occasional travel adventure around Southeast Asia. Germans and other Western Europeans round out another significant national grouping that has been quietly building communities in the Philippines for years. Germany in particular has a notable expat presence, driven in part by the same cost of living arithmetic that draws Americans and Britons, but also shaped by a particularly German fondness for natural beauty, outdoor life, and the kind of unhurried daily rhythm that Philippine provincial and coastal towns provide. Germans who retire here often settle away from the major urban centers, choosing places like Bohol, Dumaguete, or the quieter parts of Palawan, where the combination of clean air, stunning landscapes, warm water, and a genuinely slower pace of life creates something close to the idealized retirement that many spend their working years dreaming about. German retirees also benefit from a favorable currency exchange that makes their euro-denominated pensions stretch remarkably far in Philippine pesos.